Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Lamar Hardy, also known as Chef DeFloyd, coming to you with another episode of the Two Fingers Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest leading up to our big event coming up at the end of August. It's going to be a super hot, super sexy event going on. And honestly, probably the person who's bringing the most heat and sexiness to the show is who you guys are about to meet right now. All right. I'm so excited to introduce you all to her. She's going to be a huge hit at the show coming up August 25th. Sundresses and Sangrias, all right, spoken word open mic night. What's better to do to end your summer than go out, with a little heat? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you all to Miss Venus Angelique.
Hi, that was such a lovely introduction.
Right? You love that, right? I
Yes.
mean, I gotta introduce you like that because it's only gonna go up from here. I mean, I know you're trying to be all humble and a little shy and blusher right now, but wait till they see you on the mic, man. I'm so excited. But yeah,
Yes.
Venus, how you doing? How's everything?
Oh, I'm doing so good. Everything is everything, really. I'm a florist
Mm,
in my working life. So it's just beautiful that my job provides me with some sort of creative outlet. So I feel like I'm constantly in a creative mindset, even in like business. So I feel like I'm always so energized and always so surrounded by like love and just the energy of flowers is beautiful. So I feel so good today. How are you?
I'm good. My job isn't as rejuvenating as yours, but I enjoy mine just as much.
Mhm.
I host events both professionally and as a side hustle as well. So that's something I really do enjoy. Uh,
Mhm.
but it also takes its toll at times, and you end up working more hours. But that's where passion kicks in, and kind of to keep it on you though. You talk about
Mhm.
flowers and things that rejuvenate you and spark you. I mean, are you a flower yourself? Like, what flower would you be if you could be one?
Oh my gosh. So if I were to be a flower, it would be a rose. I I consistently have roses around me. I love their beauty and just the fact that they are the flower with the highest energetic vibration.
Mhm.
Um, that just makes them so special to me. The way they smell, the way they look, all the different colors and varieties that they come in. So definitely a rose. It's my favorite flower.
Okay, so are you a person who enjoys being out in the sun? Because I mean, all flowers need their love with the sun. Photosynthesis is truly important. Are you a sun girl, or do you rise with the moon?
Oh, you know what? I
I mean,
think I'm
I'm
a
only
little
asking this because your name is Venus, so I'm assuming you do astrology. Like this must be in your
yes,
life.
yes. Astrology actually heavily influences me, my poetry, my life just in general, and the way that I move. I would say that I feel like I'm a little bit of both. I feel like you can't be a true sun worshiper without following the guidance of the moon, if that makes sense. But my poetry, a lot of my poetry centers around the art of sun worship and sunbathing and I kind of go through my path of like erotic escapades with solar worship.
Okay, okay. So since we're already talking about you, let's dive more into that. So Venus, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How did you become Venus, the goddess of the planets? Like, can you elaborate? Take us with you. I'm ready to get in my spaceship. I got my helmet on. I'm ready to journey with you.
Yes.
Who's Venus?
So Venus is an artist. Venus is love. Venus is creative. Creation is my favorite realm to exist in and be a part of. So I just enjoy putting things out, and all of my art comes from my soul. Um, so when I think of myself, I think of art, I think of creation, I think of love, I think of nature. And I think of all the things that inspire me, specifically nature being like the number one.
Definitely. And my sister and I, we have these sibling tattoos where she's the sun and I'm the moon. So, and we have like our spirit animals with us. So that's a cool thing as well. But you know, the whole nature thing and Venus, like, how is that how you came upon your name? Were you just out on a walk one day in the woods, or how did Venus land as your name, as your basically
Wow.
alter ego?
So Venus came to me many times actually. First, being that if you know anything about like traditional African spirituality, there's a goddess by the name of Oshun, and she
Mm,
is the goddess of love and fertility. And I just so happen to be a child of that goddess. And so, with that goddess being one of my spiritual guides, um, I would find myself being pulled towards these very romanticized,
mm,
beautiful things. And Venus, um, when I started doing more research on astrology, I learned that Venus is the planet that rules my sign. I'm a Taurus. And so I was like, it's amazing how even spiritually these things connect. Venus is the planet of love and beauty and fertility, and Oshun, my spirit guide, is the goddess of love, fertility, beauty. So I was like, there's a connection between the
absolutely.
stars and the spirits, and so Venus was it. It was just so natural for me to become or embody of something that has just always, I guess, been written for me somewhere in the stars.
Mm,
So yeah.
I like that. So you talk about, I think you said the name is Oshun, correct?
Hmm.
Oshun. Have
Hmm.
you been to Africa? Have you actually journeyed back at all to, learn more, or, I guess become one with who Oshun is, and I guess dive deeper into further understanding this relationship that you and the connection you have?
So no, but I would love to. I know my people. I know the names of my people, but I would love to travel back and go deeper into what that practice is and how African spirituality is really practiced over there. Over where I am in Jersey, I have been to a few events and drummings, and I go to a lot of events that celebrate the spirits of the tradition. So I do get a chance to sort of immerse myself in the cultural experience. And I talk to a lot of my family and my comrades over in Nigeria and Ghana. So I get a chance to learn about like foods and how to properly celebrate the spirits and interact with them and stuff.
That's beautiful. I love that. My I've hit maybe 3 continents. And so my next is truly, I do want to make it to Africa. Like, it's Africa, South America, and then Europe if I have to, but I don't really need to. But if just to touch it, just say I was there just to tell. But
Mhm.
I definitely want to make a trip to Africa, and I definitely want to understand more. I know they say going back to the motherland is like one of the most beautiful treks, meccas one could
Yeah.
ever take. So that is definitely on the bucket list. I hope you get to accomplish that as well. Seeing that you're
Mhm.
already so connected, you're talking to people over there, you're like, you know everything about it. You just haven't touched down. Like, it's crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
So with that, let's kind of dive more into, what you are and who you are and why we're here. Like, what was your, inspiration on becoming a poet, a spoken word artist? Like, when did that start? Who intrigued your interest? And, how did you become who you are now?
Yes. So, wow, 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 wow. Poetry. Um, uh, so art has always been just my first love. I have loved music. I grew up singing, dancing, playing piano, and drawing and painting. Um, and I used to journal quite a lot as a child. Um, and along my journey through the arts and singing opera and just learning how to be creative myself, poetry was the one thing that I found that was uncontrolled. It was an uncontrolled medium of art that made me feel empowered.
Mm,
Um, when I grew up singing and stuff and playing piano, I was learning through other people's music and through other people's sounds. And so when I would pick up a pen, all of those other things didn't matter. It was just me, my pen, my paper. And that was my way to escape as a child. And so um, in my adulthood, maybe 2 years ago, I was like, I have poetry that I can like read and perform, and I can actually start performing my own intellectual property. And that was liberation. So this was in 2023. 2023 was when I first performed a poem ever, and that was in April. And that just sort of, I was thirsty for it, and I couldn't. I feel like poetry is something that I can't live without.
mm.
It's it's my breath in terms of me as an artist. I believe.
It's
Um,
nourishing.
yeah, it's so nourishing. It's so nourishing.
Mhm.
It really fuels my passion for art.
That is wonderful. Wow.
Mhm.
So, do you still, sing and play piano at all? Or do you
Yeah.
encompass that
Mhm.
in some of your stuff that you do currently?
Yes. Yes. So I do still sing opera. I sing opera more
Opera.
often, but yes.
Oh, you just threw that in nonchalantly. You just said sing. You didn't say opera's different than singing. Like that's not, singing we could hear on the track, Spotify, Apple Music, in the church. Opera is, theatric. Like we got to go pay to go see you do this.
Yes. Yes. I'm an opera singer. um and I love to do it. I do. I just think that as a singer, I feel like my voice as a singer is for other people. It's
Mm.
for the audience. And it's beautiful because people, they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, wow, your voice is so this," or "Your voice made me feel this way." And I love that. I do. But poetry is like for me.
Mhm.
Even though I might be presenting it to an audience, it's just for me. So opera, even though it is quite the talent, I will say. But poetry is poetry for me.
But I mean, it go hand. It's all art, like you said. You're very involved and delved in an art, and that's who you are, and that's what you become. So, opera. Are you like trained in opera, or did
Mhm.
you just pick that up, or is that like you were born into opera? Like, if I turn on, because my favorite, I love what. Well, it's not opera, but like musicals, like Hamilton right now is my jump.
Yes.
So if I go to the
Yes.
theater, will you be in the next, Lion King if you're going to Africa trek, or are you gonna be in Hamilton? Like, let me know. Like, how did you become so you were trained in opera? That's crazy.
Yes. Yes. So in high school, really, I feel like it's something I fell into, but also eventually falling into it got me trained to do it. In high school, I practiced musical theater. And my teacher, she was like, "I hear something in your voice that's just not the same as the others." And
Mm.
she put me near a piano and she was like, "Sing this note." And I was singing. And then she was like going higher and higher and higher. And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know I could do that." And she was
You
like,
got a
"Yeah,
Shun
you."
singing through you right now.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It was amazing to like know that I could do that, because without her I probably wouldn't have known that my voice could even do that. So she taught me my first opera song, or it's called an aria. And she said, "Okay, I'm gonna talk to the board at Juilliard because you need
Wow.
to be training yourself to sing and perform this way. Like, even though you may like other forms of music, opera is the way that your voice just works.
It was made for, yeah.
And yeah, and um I think going through that training and those years of learning how to use my voice sort of fueled the way that I use my voice just in
Mhm.
my everyday life. Like opera really teaches you how to move through all genres really. I feel like if you can sing
All the
opera, you can
spaces, yeah,
sing
for sure.
anything.
I feel like, and
Mhm.
definitely, I feel like, opera and, those who sing in a church choir, like their range
Yes.
is like unlimited. Like, right. Like you literally, if you can do those two, you don't, who needs a studio at that point? Like, you know what I'm saying? You naturally just have the vocals. All the studio is going to do is just allow you to make a billion copies of that at this point. Like
Yes.
that's all you're doing. If you go to a studio, you just selling it now. Like other than that, like that's amazing. So did you actually attend Juilliard, or did that not?
So I went to pre-college there
Okay.
and I was studying there for some time. Ultimately, I don't know if I can say this here, so I'm not gonna say it. But
Okay. Well,
yes,
okay.
it was a good time. I think as a black artist,
Hmm.
to put it correctly, as a black artist, the ways that we have to learn how to form our voices is a bit different
Mm,
than
yep.
Eurocentric ways. And so ultimately, I had to take what they were teaching me and sort of mold it to myself. So a lot of the training sort of happened with just me by myself. Um, and I think that me training myself sort of surpassed what they were giving me. And I learned this early on as a Black artist. We have, um, I mean, like they say, we have to be 10 times better. Or
Absolutely.
so there was just that. And I think that the standard of the practices that they were giving me just wasn't built for me. And I did learn after that experience, which it was a beautiful and gruesome experience at the same time.
Hmm.
But what I did learn was that Black people have different vocal cords and a whole different vocal system. And so we have to train each other and we have to learn from each other when it comes to using
Yep.
our voices, especially in such big and powerful ways, because we can injure ourselves if we're not careful. So yeah, but the experience of opera and music as a whole, beautiful. So
I
beautiful.
don't know. I mean, you're like my son, Venus. You're fueling me. Like I feel like
Yes.
I don't know if I'm a rose, but I gotta think of a flower I am. When we're done with this, or by the time we get to our show, think of a flower for me, and I'll be that flower for the rest of my life. Um,
Yes.
so you're an opera singer, you're a spoken word artist. What was like when you were a little girl growing up? Like, what were you like when I grow up? I want to be this. What was your dreams? What were your aspirations? What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Oh my gosh. When I grew up, honestly, I wanted to be a princess. I was
I mean,
like,
why not? Right? That's every little girl's
yes.
dream right there.
Yes. I wanted to exist in royalty. I wanted to be treated as such. I wanted to be loved and adored by everyone around me. And I also just thought princesses were so beautiful. So I was like, that needs to be me. Like, I just need to be worshipped.
And nothing's wrong with that, right? Like, I mean, you know, understanding what that means, but that is awesome, right? Like, who doesn't want to be royalty? And I think as black people, as we're growing now, we're understanding that we truly are all royalty. Again, like I had said it earlier, the way we're able to turn nothing into beautiful masterpieces, right? Like that's the stuff you see on movies, that princesses would touch something and then, so anything will happen, like anything will turn into a flower, like you said, or we can sing with the birds and stuff. Like that is royalty in itself. So I definitely get that. So a princess, huh? So if you were to have your own Disney Channel movie or anything, what would that look like? Like if you were to be a Disney princess, what would Venus's movie or story look like? Because I'm intrigued now. Like she sings opera, so she's got to sing with the birds. Um,
Yes.
unless you're singing that opera that Shrek did with Fiona, and she like blew the little poor bird's head off. But she's singing with the birds. She's the actual first black princess because even though Princess Tiana was a princess, she started out you know as a little girl who married
Right.
into a prince. But you're actually royalty. Like you were born to be a princess. So where are we at? What is it that you do? Do you have a special pet that's your best friend? And who's
Yes.
coming to rescue? Are you a damsel or are you strong? Are you independent? Like where are we at? Can you tell me what's your Disney story?
So my Disney story, it would probably be called like The Goddess Amongst the Flowers. And I was
Mm,
like, I think my special power would be like flower power or something. Um because like when I think of roses, like they have thorns, so they
mm,
can protect themselves.
okay.
So that's like the strength of them. And then like the rose is beautiful too, so that
I
gives
see where you're going with this. I like that. I
inspiration,
like that analogy.
like
That was tough. I like
you
that
know,
one.
you
Okay.
know. Yeah, so I feel like I just like protect everyone with the power of love and flowers and friendships, like Sailor Moon.
Okay. Yeah. That I mean so are we where are we located specifically, and are we like a human princess or are we a fairy princess? Like
Ooh,
what like where are we at? Like what I'm saying, are we under the
okay.
sea? Like what kind of princess are
We're
we?
like, we're in the sky. Like, there's
Okay.
no limits. We're in the sky.
Okay.
We travel to different planets. We solve other planets'
Oh, we're in
issues.
that
Like,
sky. Oh, we're
yes,
we're in the universe. Okay.
we are in the universe. Like, we are
Okay.
out
Okay.
there. Like, we fight intergalactic wars
Oh my
and
goodness.
we're tough. We're not a damsel.
Yo, this done turned into like I heard like Xenon is equal to
Yes,
Marvel Universe to Tinkerbell Fairy at first, and I was like, we're
yes,
all over the place. But hey, it's your story. I love it. So let's get back to who you are. Let's focus in on your
yes.
pieces more because that was fun. We could talk about that all day. But your pieces. So you said you do a lot of love poems. You circulate around that, and I guess you kind of dibble dabble in the erotica world as well. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I can confirm nor deny your statements. You don't have to disclose. We can wait till later. But for your audience, when you're speaking to them, because I know you said your voice is for them, everything you do is for the audience. What is it that you want them to understand, or what do you want to resonate with them as you are speaking to them?
Mm. So I actually started off poetry in my adulthood as an erotic poet. I feel like I am known in most spaces as an erotic poet. Um, but my poetry, even though it is erotic, it centers the love of Black pleasure.
Mm,
Um, I think that people don't often realize how much of a revolution it is to be Black and in pleasure, period. Um, and so when I get on stage, it's all about the limitlessness or the limitless nature of Black pleasure, Black feminine pleasure. But really, I want everyone to feel involved. Um, so, what I want people to know is that they should experience the most pleasure possible when listening to me. If they want to moan, they should moan. If they want to, uh, people come up to me sometimes after shows and they'll be like, I'm going home to my husband and I'm gonna
ooh,
do what you said in that poem. And I'm
okay,
like,
okay, okay.
absolutely. 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 Because I want to spark and inspire so much radical pleasure. Like I think that's just something that we deserve as people. We deserve to feel ourselves and be deep within our sensuality to where that's the only thing that exists. Um, so pleasure.
And that's it. There's no more needed from there. It's simple.
Mhm.
Um, do you feel that, I guess, in your pieces, especially, I guess black pleasure is what you were speaking on directly. Do you feel that, and this is kind of a separate topic, but do you draw inspiration on, like, current situations that are going on now, especially with social media, with, the ideas of black love and how we as black people are kind of like, we're almost like groomed to think that we don't really support each other, when
Mhm.
I fully don't believe that's true. I just I just believe that, especially social media and media itself, only shows the 1-2% that, aren't, showing a complete household, right? Aren't
Mhm.
showing, a black mom and a black dad raising black children. You got them separated,
Mhm.
because I guess my argument has always been, I was like, well, I understand. And, to speak clearly and bluntly, the black woman is the most disadvantaged. It is what it is. It is
Mhm.
what it is. She's black and she's a woman.
Mhm.
Double negative.
Mhm.
Lord, don't let her be a part of the LGBTQ community. And now it's really raps. That's the trifecta right there.
Okay.
So, I think that there's this idea that, black women, we don't support our women, da da da, or black women, all y'all do is, cry, complain, and say you're money hungry and this, that. Like, he has to be the ultimate. Like, in terms of kind of keeping it around black love, in terms of black love, like, do you know what, like, I guess the recipe or the remedy would be to that by chance? Like, and I'm speaking to you
Mhm.
because I've seen you in your black love. You've posted it. So, I'm just
Mhm.
I'm just trying to know the
Mhm.
secrets. You
Yes.
seem to be living in the truth. So what do you think, pleasure or black love, like, what is the recipe for us
Mhm.
to kind of come together and reunite? Because I feel like over the years we've kind of pulled further apart. I don't think we were as, divisive as we are now. And like I said, I think a lot of that goes to social media, and then, a lot of the systematic stuff that we face. But, how do we mend ourselves and come back together?
Ooh,
I know that's a deep question. I'm sorry. Like I said, you be
it
sparking these. Like, I had planned questions for you, and you got me trailing off on tangents here.
no, but I love it because we should always go with the flow. And I do have an answer for that because I ponder this a lot. And one thing that I circle back to is definitely commitment. Um, I think that we have to be committed to what we say we are, and not just in theory, but in practice. And I
Mhm.
think for a lot of people, we are sometimes afraid. And I say we, not for me, but we more so for the collective soul of us. And sometimes we can steer away from committing to each other because we are afraid of what that means or what that looks like. Um, and I just think that if we decided I'm gonna just commit to loving my people
Mhm.
regardless of what people are gonna think, because that's what other people do.
Mhm.
And I think that for me, I mean, a lot of Black love surrounds me. I don't necessarily feel like we are divisive. I think that the media feeds us that because it works,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
because device, like when I think of divisive and when I think of the word device, and how we are programmed through our devices to live, to know, to think, to grow, we automatically just learn what we see. So when we see on social media reality show stars fighting and
Mhm.
these people breaking up and all of these things are shoved down our throats because they know that trauma is the easiest um, drug to pump into communities. And So I think that if we committed, if we said today, I love you because you are a black man, and I love you because you're a black woman or a black whatever your identity is, if we just looked at each other and said that, I think there would be so much intercommunal love that would just invite so much more peace and understanding. And we would even look at our more ignorant
Mm.
siblings in a different light because we have more love to give. Um, but yeah, commitment.
I like that,
That's
and
it.
I definitely agree in the sense that if you truly think about it, these words are, you know, antonyms of one another, right? Like you have commitment and then you have division, right? That's two polar things that don't they work harmoniously and effectively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't do any good for us, like, right? So I do believe that, you know, commitment is truly difficult right now, for the black
Mhm,
population. I do think, and again, I think we need to, as a group, like you said, commit, but come together and make it happen.
mhm,
But I also think that we rely on the excuse of, well, the reason I can't do it is because we're down bad, or we have this, or we can't get up, or there's always something, there's a red tape blocking us, or
mhm.
like, or even in terms of relationships, right? It's, you know, when all women want is a dude who got money and da, 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 da. Or
Mhm, mhm,
dudes don't want black women, they want a woman who is completely submissive and, you know, is might be fair skin and long hair and looks like this, and, you know, the BBLs, oh my god, don't get me started on that. Uh but there's just so much going on that we pull ourselves apart, and that's where the division comes in, right? We don't have the luxury of saying, you know, hey, beautiful black woman, I know you got stretch marks today, but hey, it looks good on you. I know, you know, you may not have the job, or you may not be where you want to be, or you got a son and the dude before you did you bad, but hey, I promise to do you better. Like, it's just so many things that are, and, you know, the body counts, you know what I'm saying? There's 101 things that are constantly blocking us and keeping us from going. Yet you see white families who live in their same established homes since 1792. You see Hispanic families who don't have a problem, Hispanic and, you know, Oriental Asian families who don't have a problem living 4 generations in a household and keeping tradition and culture and staying in tune
mhm,
with who they are, who we know. But we as
mhm.
black people, it's, oh, you turn 18, you out the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
Mhm,
financial literacy just doesn't exist. I can't
mhm.
wait to get old and move on. I can't, you know, I can't wait to do my own thing. And, you or I'm just trying to, you know, I just want to do so much right now. And it's like, it kind of hurts to see that, because again, like I said, for us to be such, well, ingenuity, for us to be so smart and innovative in everything this world truly has, because we literally, you know, outside of, you know, China and India doing what they really do over there, because I'm not going to step on their toes, but outside of, but even us, like Africa, we have a bunch of architecture out there that we've built since BC. There's so
Mhm.
many things that we make into beauty and magic, and to think that now we're allowing just little minuscule things to kind of divide us, social media to divide us, it's sad to see. And so, you know, I definitely try to have intellectual conversations with people and just see, you know, what sparks their mind, where they're at, um, and how we can kind of come together and be a more affluent, you know, race and
Mhm.
people. You know, we need a better community, and that's what I do. I try to showcase my people. Hence why you're on this episode. Like, I want to showcase who Venus is. So Venus, as we're starting to wrap up, because I know it's this has been fun and we could do this all day, but I want to save some of this because I think we're gonna do a little bit more, um, you know, when it gets closer to the show. Not that you could ever retire, not that it will ever be done, not that, you know, you won't keep singing and singing lullabies or writing or journaling or anything like that. But, you know, if there was a time where you're just like, okay, I can finally sit back and rest. What would you want the world to remember Venus as, or what would you want your legacy to be? Like, how does Venus throw her shoes up on the phone pole, or drop the mic for the last time after spitting fire? You know, like what is that like?
Ah, oh my gosh. Wow. I think I see myself writing like one book that is just like a culmination of my life's work.
Mm,
And
a
that'll
memoir.
be, yes, or I don't know what it will be. Maybe it will be a memoir. Um, and I want it to be something that will feed my community. I want it to be something that will give them spiritual sustenance and mostly just love. Like, if I can leave love behind, if I can literally take my heart out of my chest and give it to my people as a gift of love and my soul and just everything good that could come from me. Um, that's what I want to leave. And pleasure, because
Right. We
oh,
can't forget about the pleasure. That is number one on your list. And it is what it is. I love it. I love that. She said if I could break my heart into a million pieces and touch it with a bit of pleasure on each one of those, it's like a lotus flower over here.
yes.
You gonna have us all in a limbo.
Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome. Well, Venus, it has been a pleasure. I've truly enjoyed our time with you. I think the audience is going to enjoy their time with you. I cannot wait until that time comes closer together. Before we go, is there any way we can support you or find you or anywhere specifically that we could just follow you?
Mhm. So yeah, I guess this is the perfect time for me to do what I always do. So at the end of my shows, I always spell my Instagram name very slowly and sensually. So I'm just gonna do that for you. So if you like me, and I know you do, you are going to open up Instagram, tap the search button, and type MAMI dot X dot FUEGO. Yes, and I'm also mommy dot X dot fuego on threads as well.
I don't think they heard it the first time. Can we spell that again?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't. I just because I know sometimes people like zone out and we don't catch it all. So yeah. I mean, if you would just so kindly spell that again, please. Just one more
Yes.
time for the crowd.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just one more
That
time.
is MAMI dot X dot FUEGO.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Hey,
you.
hey. I'm letting y'all know. Y'all not doing August 25th. And y'all just want to hear her spell her name. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else. You just
Yes,
want to
come
hear her
to the
spell her
show.
name. Just pull up to the show. Look at that. I got the show right on the screen. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So August 25th, we have Sundresses and Sangrias. This is the hottest and best way to end your summer. We're going into September, so we know fall is around the corner, but we're going to end August right. And there's no better time than to do it at the end of the month. I think that, you know, you got the ladies gonna step out, show out what they fits. They're gonna have their sundresses on. Guys, try to match their energy, put on your best summer outfits. They're gonna be out there. The sun's gonna be out there. And the show is gonna be an awesome time. The show will have happy hour from 3 to 6. Doors open at 5. And then there's another happy hour at the end of the show from 9 till close. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the way your Sunday is gonna go, you're gonna either go to church or brunch with your girls, however way you want to do it. It's late enough for you to get that out the way, but it's early enough for you to get home on Monday for work. You know what I'm saying? Like you get home early enough to go to work from Monday. And you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to buy Chick-fil-A that week. You can spend it here because you're gonna use that $15, $20 to go to Chick-fil-A for like one meal because Chick-fil-A is in a inflation right now. But come support us, come show out, come say what's up to mommy.x.fuego, otherwise known as Venus. I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm just looking forward to that. So, Venus, we truly appreciate you joining us tonight. It was a good time. I think we talked about a lot. It was really cool, and I think that this is going to be the start of something great. I think you and I will probably stay in touch more,
Mhm.
moving forward, not only just in our separate endeavors, but just as friendship and just staying in tune with each other. There's a lot more I would love to discuss with you and pick your brain on. I think it was kind of fun tonight.
Mhm.
Well, with that being said, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end our show with our mantra. So, as you always know, two fingers, peace and love, two fingers, two up, two down, two fingers, deuces, and we are out of here. We thank you, Venus, for joining us tonight. It's been an awesome time. We hope you have a good night. We look forward to seeing you on August 25th.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you too. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, we out. Have a good night.